I love that they gave us some like legit hype music this morning. So good. Good morning, everybody. As we're letting people into the Zoom room, drop in the chat where you're from, and then also drop in the chat something that is good in your life right now, how you're winning, what you're excited about, what you're grateful for. Let's blow up the chat this Monday morning with all goodness. So in the chat, what's going great in your life? Glendale, Arizona, Minnesota. Keep them coming. Also, Fresno, Las Vegas. Love it. I know that we got more than 4 people on this call. So Portland, Toronto, Waterloo. Where is Waterloo? Maybe I'm like living in a bubble to not know that. Where is that? Alberta,
Close
Medicine.
to Toronto.
Okay, cool. We're entering spring weather. Yes. Oshawa, Medicine Hat, super grateful to be here. Toronto, Scottsdale. Okay. Very cool. Well, it looks like we have a really small group today. Normally there's hundreds of people and the participants on here are 38. So for those of you guys that have showed up, I would love if you turn cameras on. We don't care what you look like, what you're doing, but if you've made the effort to be here, cameras on. There's nothing worse than speaking to a bunch of black screens with names. So cameras on. Today you guys are in for a treat. So I'm really fortunate enough to call these ladies my friends. I've had the privilege of getting to know them both at a very high level over the last year. They are part of our inner circle coaching group. So we travel together, we connect every other week. And it was interesting because I knew that they were baddies, meaning like they're total bad A woman, like boss babes. But I didn't think I really knew until last year at the Real Conference. They were giving out all the awards and they're naming off all these. And then they're like, first place is, and the first place #1 agent at Real Broker was Desi Williams. So give it up for Desi. And then next category over, or 2 categories over, they're like, first place is for small team in Canada was Elizabeth McNally. So give it up for Elizabeth McNally. So both of these women I hang out with, associate with, I knew they were awesome, but I didn't know that they were going to be #1. What makes them cool is that they are #1, but they run these really big businesses. But they do it all organically. So both of them are in small towns where they dominate, as well as like Elizabeth doesn't have, because in Canada, a lot of times these teams function off of having paid lead sources like Zillow, Realtor.com. Well, that doesn't exist in Canada. So it's very cool that both of these ladies have been able to build really big businesses, niche markets. So today I asked them to share with you how they're doing it. And why today I think is important is, yes, they're dominating these small demographic towns and becoming #1 in their countries and in their brokerages, but you can too. The principles that you are going to learn today, you can take that to a neighborhood. You can take it to if you want to have a farm, if you guys want to go hyper local focused, or if you were in a smaller community that you're like, I want to dominate this. So both Elizabeth and Desi have teamed up today to share with you exactly how they're dominating their market. So I'm going to turn it over to them. Participate, you guys. They're going to present, and then at the end we'll open it up for Q&A. So as you have comments or questions, drop them in the chat section. And also let's make this interactive and fun. There's nothing worse for these guys when they're on here and it's like womp, womp, womp. So make sure you blow up the chat section, ask questions, and I'm going to turn it over to both Desi and Elizabeth. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Spring. We are excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Share our screen really quick. Can everyone see that okay? Okay, sweet. So I met Elizabeth almost a year ago in Mexico. So we had both gone to spring break and then we went to Mexico, and I just remember thinking, oh, she's pretty cool. We shared an Uber to where we were doing our inner circle. And then my favorite thing was she's like, could you take a picture of me in front of this cactus? And I was like, Yeah, sure. And at that moment, I was like, I love this woman. Like, she's going to be my best friend forever. And so, yeah, that's kind of how we met and how we got started.
Yeah, and same thing, like we realized at the conference, right? Desi was like, holy smokes, like this is so, I think for me, I was really just like kind of astounded that like we're up against really big centers when we're looking at like the brokerage overall, right? So coming from small communities, I think the highlight is like, and hopefully that we can give people value is that you can do it from anywhere, right? You just have to implement the tools and systems. So anyway, I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit. This is my little collage. I personally love collages of people and all their pictures, like the best part of weddings. So I have been in real estate for 20 years. I've always been in Medicine Hat, so that's the difference between Desi and I. So, which is also kind of a cool juxtaposition. Um, I grew up here. This is my community. My family's based in business here. And I grew up like painting, cleaning, renovating with my family. And then when I was about 25, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to try this real estate thing. So I got into it. And about 5, 6 years in, I was doing really well. I was becoming really successful. I was moving towards being like the top selling agent in the city. And about 5 years ago, after about 10 years of working, having an amazing assistant and stuff, I started a team, which is like incredible. My team is like, they're just my people. And then, yeah, we got going. I've got a family. I'm a mom. We love traveling. We like to watch for aliens. You can see that there. And that was cool. Hopefully everybody saw that. Not the aliens, but the uh the solar eclipse. Did you see it, Desi, where you were at?
I forgot to go outside.
Ah.
So, well,
It was so awesome. So anyway, yeah, the team, I'm really proud. We've been the number one team in Canada for 2023. And we're looking to double, like we're consistently doubling our business here in Medicine Hat. So it's been going amazing.
Elizabeth, really fast, let me interject. What does your
Yeah.
team structure look like right now? How many agents?
Sorry?
What does your team structure look like? How many agents do you have?
There's 5 of us total, and so 4 active agents.
Okay, and 4 active agents, how many transactions did you guys do last year?
We did 235 transactions last year.
Okay, so you guys can see 235 transactions for active agents. That's very impressive. That's a high per agent transaction count. And then I don't know, Desi, you're going to introduce yourself, what your production looks like.
yeah, I'll introduce myself. So, I do around 120 transactions per year. And something a little bit different between from Elizabeth is we moved to our market about 6 years ago and didn't have any friends or family, no sphere of influence, and went from like 20 transactions a year to over 120. So
Super impressive. I think so. The key that I want both of these guys for you guys to recognize from that. So Desi being the solo one, she moved to a small town and absolutely dominated it within the last 6 years. Elizabeth has a little bit different background, like she's from there and has that background. So you can do it either way. It's just implementing these next things these ladies are going to share with you. All right, girls, I'll let you take it over.
okay, let's dive right in. So I'm a mom of 5, and our town has about like 15,000 people. So we wanted to define the small community. Elizabeth, I'll let you kind of take that.
Yeah, sure. So we laid it out sort of different ideas because as far as it goes, I mean, you can be from a small town, hamlets, villages, all those sorts of things. But also when you're in a big center, I feel like, you could easily go into your neighborhoods or subdivisions and use our tools and strategies to gain market share in those areas.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to consistency and hard work. But today we wanted to share with you 4 strategies to help you build a sustainable business, take over massive market share, and get repeat and referral business. Because that's another unique thing about Elizabeth and I is most of our business comes from repeat and referral customers, which is great. That's the cheapest way to get business.
Well, and like Spring said, for me, I don't do any paid leads, and we haven't. When I started in real estate, I never used those, the sort of bus benches, the billboards, or anything of like that. It is all word of mouth and organic growth.
So number 1, building community. I think if you want to take over your markets, you've got to build community and you've got to be seen as an expert in your area. And so one of the ways we do that is through, well, we'll just hit all of them. So business collaborations, community initiatives, client events, and agent community. And we're going to go into a little bit of those.
So the business collaboration, that's been a really big one for our team. I know Desi does it as well. So we have more collage for everybody. But as far as, we always choose a business that we like to work with. And over here on the one side, you can see there's sort of like, I guess it looks like gift certificates or whatever. But we use those to promote a business, but also promote ourselves and the company, the team. But I kind of was getting tired of buying gift cards. And then you give out a gift card and you realize, you have no idea. You pay $50. You don't know if they use it. You don't know, if it's gone back to the business, any of that, right? So then a friend of mine and I came up with this idea. She owned a coffee shop at the time. I've been doing it for about 15 years and it's been amazing. So if I can honestly recommend that you take away one thing from this, it would be align yourself with a local business that you know, like, and trust, and come up with something very similar to this. I give these out. My whole team gives these out constantly. It's like Liz Bucks. We just give these to people. It's sort of that, what's the word? It's like when you give somebody something, there was a word.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Yes, reciprocity. I can't say it today. It's Monday. So we've had so much, like, just really good luck. I can honestly dial tons of business to this. So what it is I give them to people when we meet with them for our initial meeting, listings. Every time I see them, we give them out at Christmas. And then it's them going down, taking it to that business. And then once they use it, I get billed back, which is fantastic. Desi does something similar to this.
Yeah, so we do something similar but different. So for our community, we do community spotlights on Instagram. And so we'll pick a local business and then we just highlight them, tell a little bit about them, and then we usually do a giveaway at that business. And one success story I guess we've had is there's a place called Munchkin's Playland, and we are 2 hours from fun in any direction. We don't have anything fun in our town. And so they started this little play place, and it's for like 6 and under, and moms can take their kids there and they can just play. But they were going to have to go out of business because they didn't have enough customers coming in to keep them open. And so I was like, well, let me highlight you. And then after that, their business has nearly doubled. And now we have a wait list of businesses that want us to spotlight them. And so we do one every other week, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I don't like to do more than one shot. So we'll just do one shot and then that you get what you get. And so Munchkin's Playland was one place we did. And then we also have done like a Boys and Girls Club, and other places that maybe need a little boost in the community to be seen.
Can I interject right here really quick? You guys, if you take anything away from this, I've seen these ladies present before. I loved what Elizabeth said of find a local restaurant, coffee shop, boutique that you can partner with them, that the gift cards that Elizabeth is giving away she's only paying for it when they redeem it.
Yes.
How many of you guys have received gift cards and you never use them? Like, be honest. I have one right here from Lululemon that was probably like, and I freaking love Lululemon, but have I used it? No. Like, I have a freaking desk drawer of gift cards that as a business owner, you're just paying it out regardless. So you're giving Lululemon that money. Here, what Elizabeth is saying is go find that local that will let you give out gift cards that when they redeem them is when you get charged. So Elizabeth, do you just have like a like an account with them or a credit card on file, or what do you have?
Basically, yes. Like, so we have an account, they just keep them in the till, and at the end of the month, they just tally it up, what everybody ordered. Cause you can see on the coffee card, they can put down if they had a latte, tea, coffee, whatever, and then they just send me out a bill. Depends, like monthly, it depends on the business, right? How on top of it they are. But it works out really nicely. And sometimes they'll give you a bit of a discounted rate too, because it's like a guaranteed business. And the way I present it is, oh, have you ever been to the pool house? And then it just really strikes up a conversation. I talk about how I love it and how it's downtown. And then it encourages them to go as well. Like, I don't just give it to them, I tell them I'm giving it to them, and that I hope that they can experience the pool house in our downtown.
I
So
love
it's
that.
kind of, just giving them that goodness. And then I've had tons of people using them.
Yeah.
So
Do you get, somebody asked in the chat, do you get a list of who used them, or how do you know?
no, I don't, and I think you could get a little bit more specific about it. Like, you could maybe have a name or something like that, but I don't. I just
Hard.
felt like that complicated it.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out on Desi's is, you guys, if you're wanting to work with local business owners at any capacity, this is a great way of you just going in and saying, hey, I'm a local realtor. I want to do a community spotlight. Would you be open to me interviewing you? Nobody's going to tell you no, right?
No.
So the fact that you get that relationship with the business owner, the fact that there is that, like, again, reciprocity of like, and then when people start talking about it. So I love this. That last thing, and I'll let you guys, I'm not trying to hijack your presentation.
No, I love it.
Last thing I want to say on this is I love that that Desi said that she's a one and done. A lot of times we don't do videos because we overthink like the production quality, or does our hair look okay, or what about our makeup, or I mean, I can't even tell how many times I've told my team, I'm like, I look like shit today, we're not filming, and I just love that she's like, I'm gonna do it and put it out there, and this is real life. So if you're in that spot of you want to do something, just don't overthink it and go make it happen.
Yeah, I think you just have to have a policy. Like, for me, I'll do 2 shots and then that's it. But when you're doing an interview with somebody, just let it go and let it ride, and it'll work out good.
Yeah, I love that.
Other point
Okay.
on this one is, when you are highlighting these local businesses, their friends and family see you supporting them, and then they
Mhm.
want to support you. And so I've gotten tons of business just because people are like, we love how in love with the community you are and how helpful you are.
Yeah.
So then
I think that's the big thing, right? Like, community minded, and then it has to come through authentically. So pick businesses that you actually truly love. Pick, initiatives that you really appreciate and want to be a part of and want to see the rest of the community support. Like, we support the library, for example, but we also encourage other people to support it. So, you know what, if other real estate companies support them, that's perfect. Like, because it's really like, that's the goal, right? The ultimate goal is to support that initiative, and then the good things come out of that, right?
I love it.
And I guess you guys didn't see, so she does like her library cards down at the bottom right
Mhm.
corner. And it's
Yeah,
like
we do the Balloon Festival, and we support the library. And I know at the Balloon Festival, for example, there's other brokerages that support it as well. And it's just fantastic. Like, it's so good for the community. And the other thing, I guess people could, you always think about, like, you don't have to do something this big. Like, I've been doing this for a really long time, right? So I'm able to support something on that level. But just start small, like start with your kids, school programs, or where can you go and volunteer and be a part of, those sorts of things, the food banks, stuff like that, right? So
one thing
it's just
is
so
I
good.
coach all the local rec leagues. I'll coach like basketball, volleyball.
Mhm.
You also get all those contacts with the parents. And then you also, like in our town, it's like grandparents come, aunts, uncles, and you get all those extra contacts with people.
I love
So
it. Cool.
client
Yeah, just
event.
client events. You go. You do Desi
Okay.
does client events amazing. So
We love client events. So you guys might want to write this down. I'm going to give you kind of like our exact protocol that we do. So 4 weeks before the event, we set up an Eventbrite, and basically it just sends them an email and says like, hey, Burley Straw Maze event's going to be October 3rd, 4 to 6, register. And then it automatically will send them emails like 2 weeks out, the day of, and just kind of reminds them, and you don't have to do anything. And then it also captures their information. And then we'll post a video 4 weeks before and say, hey, we just wanted you guys to save the date. We're going to be running out the Burley Straw Maze on this day from this time. If you didn't get our email, go ahead and DM us and we'll give you a link. And so then we can capture their information as well. And it kind of keeps growing. Our first year, I think we only had like 40 people go through. And last year we were over 500 people. And it can be expensive too. So we always try to get sponsors from like the local title company, lender sponsors, home inspectors. We have a certain plumber we use all the time. We have well testing that we have to do out here. And so our well testers will help sponsor. Our pest control guy loves us and he'll help sponsor. So you just try to collect money from other people. So that way it's less out of pocket and it makes it more attainable for anyone to be able to do it. And then 2 weeks out, we're texting everybody and calling all of our clients. And one thing that we haven't tried yet, but we're going to try next time is the Hit 'em Up. Is it an app?
Yeah, hit them
It is
up.
an app.
Okay, here's another life hack, you guys. You might have heard me talk about this. Alex Pruitt actually shared it. Hit them up, download it. Like it's HITEMUP. But what it does is, how many of you guys want to send like a group message, but you don't want it to be a group message because you don't want people to like feel like they were in a group message and everybody replying? Well, what Hit 'em Up does is you can type out the message and then you can select who you want it to go to. You can put people in different groups or categories, and then it will send out the message individually to each one of them from your cell. So if you're on an iPhone, it will send from your iPhone. So you literally can text like 100 people in 5 minutes, and it will come individually from your actual iPhone. So when we're done with this, I'm happy to show you guys, but I have like some of you are in my real world at a very high level. So I have you in a category. If I want all of you to like know about this call, I can type one message and then put who I want it to go to, and then we'll individually text you that message. So for client events, it's a no-brainer. If you're trying to get a listing out there, it's a no-brainer. Like Hit 'em Up is a godsend and you'll love it. So there you go. I should affiliate link for that and I don't have it. Just kidding.
I'm going to try it. Yeah, because individually texting those people is like torture. And then they all start responding and you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Some of the events that we do, oh yeah. And then the morning of, it sends them a reminder. We'll post on our social media again. And then while they're there, you want to get a videographer or have somebody there just on an iPhone with a gimbal or whatever. Because that's where we get our video testimonials, because there's nobody that wants to rave about you more than somebody that's at your free event, taking their whole family to the pumpkin patch, which would usually cost them like $50 to $100. So we do pies at Thanksgiving. We do these heart-shaped pizzas at Valentine's Day with the world's best pizza cutter. It cuts so good, but it can't cut your fingers because it's plastic. Our clients love it. And then we do the pumpkin patch. We're doing a photographer for like family mini sessions, and we've rented out the movie theater. We do like a food truck one too, where we have like live music and a bounce house and stuff. So those are some of ours. What do you guys do, Elizabeth?
Well, we do some similar things like the pizza and things like that. You can see that we did the pizza gift cards more as far as not like an actual event. We did St. Patrick's Day, like we're so lucky to have you as our clients. And we had kind of it at an Irish pub where we had live music and tons of games. But I think too, you can do things on a smaller level. So we actually had, for example, a Stampede Parade patio party. So the patio only fit like 55 people, but we did send the invitation out to everybody. So the first 50 people that said that they could come, boom, they came. But then the other thing that was just really nice is that everybody knew that we were thinking about them, because I think that's the most like important part, right? A lot of times people can't make those events, but we want our clients to know that we're still thinking about them after the transaction is over.
For sure. And to that point, it allows you to get so many touches in a short period each event, because after the event, we text them and say, hey, thank you so much for coming. It was so great to see you. Or we'll say like, hey, we really missed you. We hope to see you next time. And at the event too, you can enter them into a drawing with their referrals. And we usually get 2 to 3 listings per event that we have just from them referring friends and family. So
I think that's the really fun part about all of these things, right? Is that you can almost allocate deals back to them. So it's like they're paid for, but also there's just like that really lovely good energy that goes out into the universe. So
and people love them. There's nobody else in our market that does any type of event. And so when they see our events, they're like, oh my gosh, like you guys are so amazing. And they just love them. So the third thing is trend setting. And Elizabeth, you're a pro at this.
Well, I've always loved watching what people are doing in other centers. And so when I see something new, and actually sometimes I'll even go out of the real estate industry and I'm watching what people are doing there so that I can get some new ideas, right? So I was lucky, I adopted social media really early on, but I don't think that I guess the thing I'm trying to say is, don't let that stop you because it doesn't feel like a new platform. Get on it, be consistent. Your tribe will come to you. You just have to look into the right hashtags. You have to get into making sure that people are seeing you. You might need to do some paid advertising just in the beginning, depending on what you want to do there. But with social media, get into something that you're really interested in. Like if you love being on Instagram, start posting on Instagram. Just right now, our team is doing a 30-day challenge where everybody, because it's hard to get everybody into it, right? So even if you just challenge yourself or your team, like post every day, even if it's in stories, for example, because that disappears in 24 hours. So, whatever you did is going to be over and people aren't going to see it anymore. So just give it a try. And then the more you get used to it, then people are going to get used to seeing you and they're going to get used to what you're putting out there. So our Facebook, for example, we put all of our listings on albums. So we have tons of people that are watching our Facebook because they're looking for the new listings that are coming up, especially in the low inventory market. And I know that there's agents that are using other people's listings and doing something like that. I think that's great. Use other people's listings and start posting, right? Professional photos we did really early on before people were doing them, but now it's expected. So hire a great photographer. That's money well spent. And then we're really into the staging. Staging, we started about 15 years ago. I think everybody's talking about it now. But what I think is really interesting is that people can start using virtual staging. And is there anybody out there using virtual staging right now and having good luck with it? I know I talked to Lori. She was using Box Brownie. Is that something that people use? So something like that, like, so you don't have to, especially if you're from a small center and there's nobody doing staging, imagine like what it would look like if you just, had a listing virtual stage, like people would be blown away.
And while
So
we both started is like I would take my kids' beds and stuff out of my own house so we wouldn't have like a living room set. My kids would sleep on the floor for
us too.
uh,
I don't know if I recommend that, but it's actually a funny story for afterwards. Our whole house was in someone else's house once.
then people come over, they're like, hey, I saw that couch in one of your listings. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yep.
know, right?
Another thing I did, I just found a stay-at-home mom with a shopping problem, and she stages all my houses. She has like warehouses full of furniture just because she can't stop buying stuff. So
I love that. And I think that it's just like, for me, it's showing our listers that we're doing the work. We want to get their house sold. We're just not, acquiring listings to get our name out there. And if they sell, they sell, or if they don't, they don't. It's more like our objective is to show their house, get it sold, and create a raving fan. And then that person is going to come back to us and they're going to refer us. And that's basically how I started my business, was just referrals, people hearing that I actually got their listing sold faster and for more money. So I guess the concept with the trend setting is pick a few things that you're interested in. How can you improve on, what's out there within your network and the community? Like, what are other agents doing? Maybe you want to do it, but do it a little bit different, We started something kind of cool, which I was super excited about. I had connected with an influencer, and I think everybody should do this. There's got to be someone in your community or someone nearby that has a huge following. So it's really fun. I had reached out to Tyler Hassman, who's a really great videographer. So you can see here. So if you look on the, I guess it's my left, you can see I've just circled sort of the number of views our listings get when Tyler comes to town and films one of our listings. So he's really like super fun. He was really approachable. I was really nervous when I first messaged him about like, hey, you know, is this something that you would do? And he was so generous with his time and fun, and it's been really great. And I would definitely recommend you reach out to somebody that's in your community. That it might not be necessarily somebody that just does home tours, but these home tour guys are so cool. So really fun.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna
then,
stop you. Can I stop you right there?
yeah,
Because I think this is something we need to hit on. Well, I want to back up you guys.
sure.
If you're listening to this, they're not doing anything crazy. How many of you guys have heard all this stuff before? Raise your hand, drop one in the chat if you've heard every single one of these things before. Client events, gift cards, staging, photography. The thing about what's exceptional about these two women is they're consistent and they're doing it all the time. And their clients they're like they said, our job is to sell the home, and they're being resourceful. They're becoming that neighborhood expert, and being resourceful. Let me ask you this. If my house needed to be staged and I didn't have the furniture and the realtor said, all right, you know what? I actually have this furniture at my house. We'll stage your home till it's sold. Do you think you would hire that realtor? Abso-freaking-lutely. Like somebody who's willing to go take the couch out of their own house to get your house sold. This is the differentiator of what makes somebody good to great. And they're sharing with you these good to great examples, like going to make that relationship with your local coffee shop saying, hey, how can I help grow your business and you can help grow mine? Right? Going and reaching out to the influencer. So Elizabeth, walk me through, because how you obviously didn't know him before.
No.
If you guys are listening to this and you're not, and you don't have young kids that are into that influencer thing or whatever, this is massive. Most of the brands right now are paying for influencers to market their products because people don't spend time on TV anymore, right? So like all of the micro influencers is the way. Like there's so much money being made in affiliate marketing and all of that. So Elizabeth, walk me through or walk us through that you were like, hey, this dude gets a lot of views. So you just
Yeah.
DM'd him?
Yeah, I just DM'd him. I knew he was in my area. He's from Calgary, which is a bigger center. And I just said, hey, you know, do you ever come like this way, or can I pay you to come? Like, how does it work? I basically just went in blind. I had no idea. And right away he messaged me back and he was like, yeah, absolutely. This is how we do it. So sometimes I pay for it and sometimes he intentionally wants to do it. So we'll come down because it's good for him too, right? Like it's sort of like a win-win. He gets to get some cool, like, which seems like extremely affordable properties on his roster, which really ups his views. And then also we get tons of interest from them. So essentially what happened is we booked a day for him to come down. We picked out a few listings. He actually went through my listings and told me which ones he was interested because he knows what he's doing. And I put a couple in there that I felt like I really needed people to see. And then we filmed them. And sometimes he'll do it as a collaboration with me. And then sometimes he'll just tag me. So it just depends on kind of how he's feeling as well. And I'm really flexible because I'm really just grateful that he's willing to do that. And it's been so good, right? But I definitely think find someone that's close by, like a big center, even like if you're in a smaller satellite city, definitely reach out. I know, for example, like Tyler is so fabulous. I was down in Houston last year at a conference. I just can't remember the name of it. And I was talking to Frosty. If anybody knows Frosty, she's awesome. Ask Frosty. She's down in Houston, and we were talking about her listing and she's having trouble getting it going. And I was like, you should talk to Tyler. And literally, because he was at that conference, he went and just like they blasted off a house. Like it was so cool.
Yeah.
So I just think don't be afraid to ask. They might they might not answer you. They might not even see that you got into their inbox, right? Ask again. Like, but at the end of the day, Spring really hit on it. Micro influencers, like go for people that have like 10,000 followers, kind of in that range, because they're building still too, right? So it's, it's a win-win situation potentially.
What I wanted to say on this, you guys, is that a lot of these micro influencers, again, it might not be your jam. You're like, what the heck? I'm telling you, it works. And they all need content. So like, for example, if any of you guys follow me on social media, you follow that my husband's obsessed with Porsches. Like the guy has more pictures of his damn cars than anybody I've known, but it's because all of these kids want content. So they're constantly shooting these cars and these micro influencers. It's the same with these houses. It's the same with fashion or whatever. So I love this idea. If you need exposure on your listings, go and ask somebody who has a little bit of a following if they will come and do a tour on it.
Well, and I think the thing is there, Spring, is that it's for your listing. You have to think about it that way. And we did it to get our listing sold, not to grow our like following and become like try to tack onto that. It's more, how can we expose our listing and get it more interest? How can we get more eyes on it? And we've been getting people from like all over the world calling, like reaching out about the listings, people from Ontario, from different centers, right? It's great.
I love that. One other thing Elizabeth did that's kind of trend setting. Has anyone heard of smudging before?
Oh,
So
yeah,
I had a listing that like was not selling. And so while we were out of town last week, she went and had a professional smudger come and it's like saging it.
yeah. We saged the house. Yeah. And we went multiple offers the next day. Boom.
So if your listing's not selling, I'm trying it this week.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
oh, I went backwards.
Oh,
Okay.
go back to the like the thing right there. So the QR codes, you guys, I'm really excited about QR codes right now. So this is, and actually I wasn't able to put it in here for everybody to see, but right now we're creating a lawn sign. And this is, I think, what's coming up, and it might be already in your center, but like with the big QR code, so literally people could be driving and pick it up, and then you can tie it back to your landing pages in your CRMs, which is also like just another way to get people into your world.
And I actually used that on a listing presentation I had for a commercial property this week. I was like, yeah, and we do these huge QR signs so that when you're driving 80 down the interstate, you can just snap it with your phone and they get all the information. And that won us a listing this week too. So taking your idea from Costa Rica. Like it. Okay, the next thing, and I think probably one of the most important things when you're trying to take over market share is just creating raving fans. Because in my market, I know that everybody, their aunt's a realtor, their uncle's a realtor, their best friend's a realtor. They know 5 or 6 realtors on a high level. Like they have Sunday dinners with them and stuff. And so to come in from not knowing anyone to being able to take over the market, I think one of my secret superpowers is just providing optimal levels of service. And so one of the things that we do is we try to personalize every experience, but it's also systematized because you can't replicate on a high level when you're doing 120, 130 transactions a year. It's really hard to remember all the steps. And so you have to do it with a system. But one of the things we do is like the mile markers our clients love. So as soon as they go under contract, they get cookies delivered to their office. And the reason we do it to their office instead of their home is because when they get a big package of cookies with balloons, or if I know like they're on a diet or something, I'll do something else like flowers or protein bars or whatever, but it gets delivered to their office. And then everyone's like, whoa, what are those for? And it's like, oh, those are from my realtor. Like your realtor sent you flowers and cookies and balloons? Like that's crazy. And then once the inspection contingency's up, we send out like a pizza letter and it's with a gift card. And it just says like Pizza Hut delivers and so do we. And it asks for a referral at that point. And then once we get past the appraisal contingency, we usually send like moving boxes or some supplies. And on, I think it's called the U-Print. We just found that you can get boxes that are customized. And so we're going to start ordering those. How fun is that to get
We're
like,
looking into that too.
are you?
I'm so
Yeah.
excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. And they have these little, we're also upping our CMA game and like our buyer consult game. Because they have these little things that you can order, and we're gonna put a bunch of, like, we're gonna put the CMA in there, and we're gonna put like some QR codes and some client reviews and just like a little pre-listing kit.
It's just constant touch points, right? Like we're just constantly touching our clients, showing them love and appreciation, showing them that we love the community, and then it just like builds out from there, right? So it's how you create a sustainable business, essentially.
And
Because,
how, oh,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say for us, like we're very listing heavy, like we're 75% listing to 25% buyer, right? We're actually moving more and we're getting more and more buyers because I'm able to capture the leads better with the team as it's growing. But I mean, I think that's the thing, right? You want those listings to sustain your business.
Yep. 100%. And we're about 55% listings, but our 45% buyers, half of those come from our listings because we double
Yeah.
in almost
Yeah.
we have. So, and then I think it's really important because buying a home or selling a home can be kind of a scary process. And it's a big deal. Like, it's their most expensive asset. And most people don't do it every day like we do. They do it like maybe once a decade. And so I think helping them understand what's going to happen next and keeping up to date with like weekly updates, because we've had so many clients who are like, yeah, our last realtor, like, they put us under contract and then we didn't know it was happening again for the remainder of the transaction. And they hated that. They never knew like where they were at in the process. And so we have a system where we reach out every week. Every Friday, we update our listings and give them a heads up. And then every week we update our buyers and just try to stay top of mind. So we also use like the Sisu roadmap. And another thing is like creating a deep and meaningful relationship. And so like when I see a client at Walmart, I might not remember their name because I'm super bad with names, but I'm like, oh my gosh, your kids have gotten so big. Like, how are you guys? It's so great to see you. And at the client events, like, I'm so excited to see them when they come, and they're always like, can we take a selfie with you? Oh, we want to talk to Desi. And they're like so excited to see me too, just because we built that relationship, and I like really do care about them. It's authentic and they can feel that. It's not just like, ooh, give me money. I want a paycheck. It's like, I really want to help you get into a home that you're going to be really happy with. Like, how can I better serve this client? What can I do to help them reach their goals faster, more efficiently?
I love it. We have 2 minutes left. So, what is there anything else you guys are wanting to cover on this?
Time flies.
I think
Follow
system,
your systems.
yeah, you've got to have a system for everything, because as you grow and scale, like, you're not going to go from like 5 transactions to 20 a month. So your capacity will grow, but you've got to put the systems in place, because otherwise, like, my hardest year, I went from 40 to 89, and it just like about wrecked me. My mental health was terrible, and I honestly hated my life. I hated being alive. It was really hard. And so having the systems in place to allow you to still have that balance and be able to still spend time with your kids and your family and not feel like the world's on fire at all times is going to be really, really important. And if you guys need help with any of the systems, like, that's one of our specialties. Like, we have all these systems, like our open house playbook, our contract to close, and I'm happy to share any of our systems with you guys.
I think my number one takeaway from all of this is you got to choose your hard, you guys. So you either choose the hard of building out these systems and building a repeat referral business, or you choose the hard of buying your business from Zillow or realty.com or realtor.com or any of those. And the difference is you choose the hard of creating the relationships and doing the events and buying the gift cards and all of those things that give you that repeat business that is yours, or you choose the hard of renting your business and paying the 40 to 50%. And there's not a right or a wrong, but I guarantee you, Desi and Elizabeth are making a lot more money by creating this type of repeat referral, sustainable market share business than the ones that are like, cool, I'm going to pay for all of my leads and get the transactions and turn and burn them. So you're going to either have to have a system for this or a system for the other model. And it's your choice. There's not a right or a wrong, but this is the core. This is the core, like as things start to shift. I know a lot of you guys are in Canada, so you're not seeing this yet, but as things start to shift with the whole buyer broker agreements and whatnot, I guarantee you Elizabeth and Desi are going to have a heck of a lot easier conversation than the rando that they're just meeting offline or online, because they've built that name, they've built the recognition, they've built the relationships. It's like, I need to work with Desi, I need to work with Elizabeth. And so I would just challenge you guys. They gave you a lot today, like a lot of information. And I would just challenge you to take one thing and implement it. Like one thing, whether it's go to your local coffee shops or your pizzas or all these small businesses that need or want your help to help grow and build those relationships. And maybe those are who you spotlight and do the gift cards, right?
Well, and I think the thing is too, sorry, Spring, I'm just going to say it's a lot more, it's like more fun for you. Like it's like good for your soul, right? To be part of your community. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree with you guys. So you have a QR code here. What's the QR code to?
So this gives you kind of the perfect agent schedule, and then also like the big 5. It's like a game you play with yourself to make prospecting fun, and it tells you like who to reach out to and how to build those relationships. And so we're also going to be doing a mastermind like monthly where people could come learn more in detail, because there's so much to cram in there.
Oh my gosh. Well, you literally are just giving your whole business blueprint in 45 minutes. Like there's no way you can. So again, you guys, it's taking one.
Just
it says
work hard.
QR code's not working. And let's try it. Let's see if it's going to work.
Yeah.
If not, drop in the chat, maybe the link, ladies.
Oh, it worked for me. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh no, it goes to nowhere.
Okay.
Sorry. Just message us.
Yeah.
Well, if you have the link, you can drop it in the chat too, or find these ladies on.
I don't think I have it handy. I might panic. So.
All right. It was today a value. Drop in the chat your number one takeaway. I want to hear what you're going to execute in your business. So let's see it.
And thanks everybody for coming, watching. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to either Desi or I, right?
Cards, coffee house gift cards. Yep. Small business gift cards. Thank you. More videos for me promoting local businesses. QR lawn signs. Mile marker gifts. Yes. Client during mid milestones for sure. Because people just want to feel loved. You know, they just want to have those relationships and feel appreciated. Think about when you get something and you're like, oh my gosh, I had a realtor one time. She's still one of my dear friends. It was probably like 5 years ago. She sent me one of those cheap bubble gum machines, like probably cost her $5. And it was full of bubble gum, you know, those little round ones with the thing, you know, and it said, I hope you have a pop-in birthday or something like that. This is 7 years later, and I'm telling you guys about it on a Zoom. You think I remember what my husband bought me 7 years ago? No, it's just the random little things that people are like, oh yeah, because it's unexpected, right? Those unexpected little gifts. Brian had out of the blue, one of his investor funds sent a pair of really cool Nikes, and it was just out of the blue, and it was like, oh, this is a cool pair of kicks. Like, what are these for? Just challenge you guys. Like, if you really want to build those relationships, it doesn't have to be anything big, but just start thinking about like, how can you build more of a relationship with people? And it starts with just the little things of making them feel appreciated and loved. I guarantee you they will use you for their real estate needs over their Zillow realtor if they feel like they have a relationship with you. So with that being said, we appreciate all of you for being on Rocket Fuel today. We look forward to seeing you. Share with your friends every Monday, same time, same place. We would love to grow this to being massive. And so Tyson just dropped in the link to the QR code into the chat. If you guys want to click on that, it'll take him over to there. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Well, we won't pop off here yet and tell you guys, if you want to click on that link, you can do it. And then Katie will end the Zoom meeting. Let's see. I love seeing so many faces. Matt Ingram, Tyson, Philip, John Powers, Kenzie.
Oh, link's still not working.
Okay. Well,
Sorry,
Steve.
guys.
Okay. Bye, guys. It
We
is what it
tried.
is. Drop them a DM. Okay. Much love to you.
Okay,
guys.
have a good one.
Bye.